Warmly welcome to Kenya and more specifically to Machakos, where we're now visiting the farm of Veronica. And I'm going to let Veronica introduce herself in just a minute, but I thought maybe we can just see that we can see each other and perhaps wave. Are you with us, Veronica? There's Veronica. Hi, Veronica. Great to see you, and great to see you as well, Wanjira. This is the first time that we do a digital field visit of this proportion with this many participants. We had this morning just over 170 people that had registered to join. And we'll see how many are actually behind their screens, but that is what we think anyway. The purpose of this trip is to visit Veronica's farm and to be able to see how she is coping and managing the effects of the corona pandemic, and also to ask any questions that you may have on how she works and on how We Affect works to support her organization, because Veronica is a member of a dairy cooperative, milk cooperative. But before I let you introduce yourself, Veronica, I thought I'd tell you who these visitors are that we have with us. I'll start with myself. My name is Anna, and I work as the Secretary General of We Affect. And I'm just going to go around like this and then go. So I'll start. And please, who you are and why you've joined this trip.
My name is Marie Nygren, and I'm a CEO of the Cooperative Association. And actually, my heart is in this question. So that's why I'm here today.
Fantastic.
My name is Elisabeth Idén. I'm the president of the Federation of Young Swedish Farmers. I'm here today because I'm interested of food production, and I think it's very important that every person have food. Thank you.
Yes, hello. I'm Alaric Sandrup. I'm Director of Public Affairs at Lantmännen, Swedish Farmers Cooperative. I'm extremely interested in those issues that we will discuss here today. And actually, I've also been employed by We Affect. I used to work for a couple of years in Malawi with the same things I think that we will discuss today.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm going to go to our other participants that are on the screen, and maybe I'll start with Lena.
Hi, I'm Lena. I'm from the Stockholm Consumer Cooperative Society. Sustainability is important for us and one of our main cornerstones. And based on the UN's global goals for sustainable development, we try to inform and influence our members to become more aware of these issues that we are facing and to contribute.
Thank you, Lena. Shall we go on to Per?
Yes, my name is Per Rydell. I'm chief of member in OK Ekonomisk Förening. And this is issues that's very important for us. We are one of the founders of The Effect, and I can agree with what Marie said in the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Per. Over to Juan.
Hello, I'm Juan Navas, and I work at Group Communication and Sustainability at Swedbank. First, I want to say what a privilege it is to be here and to join you all. I'm here because I want to learn more, and I can only agree with what's been said before. These are important issues, and I'm looking forward to this digital trip.
Thank you, Juan. Then maybe over to Anna Bengtsson.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna, and I work with sustainability at HSB. We are a cooperative organization operating in property development and management. And I had the opportunity to visit Zambia with the We Affect a couple of years ago, and I'm really into international cooperation. So I look forward to this afternoon together.
Thank you, Anna. Over to Camilla. maybe we've lost Camilla. Let's go over to Linnea.
Hello, everyone. My name is Linnea, and I'm working at Coop. I'm also very privileged to be here today and want to thank you for having me. Sustainability, both economical, environmental, but also social, is one of the core values of Coop. And for that, I'm very grateful for being here and sharing this experience.
Thank you. And then finally, Annika Roos.
Thank you. Well, I'm working for the Swedish Farmers Confederation, and we have an organization where we also work as we affect ambassadors in our regions who are visiting our local meetings, local farmers, and talk about we affect. And farming is obviously the key issue here. Farming in Sweden, farming in Kenya, both interesting. It's going to be really interesting to follow today and see what the similarities are and where we can help each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And before we continue, I'm just going to mention that we actually have a baby here in the studio, in case you can hear the sound in the background. And it's just part of, I mean, this is life, right? I'd like to go over to Kenya before we continue, actually, to ask my colleague who works at We Affect, Wanjira, just to quickly introduce Veronica, who is welcoming us to her farm today, so that we all know who's in the meeting before we proceed. So over to Wanjira.
Thank you, Anna. Good afternoon. Most welcome to Kenya, to the We Affect Region Office of East Africa. We have Veronica here, who is one of our project participants in Machakos County, which is about 75 kilometers southeast of Nairobi. The temperatures here are quite high. We are almost at 30 degrees Celsius. And you can see I have a hat on because it is quite sunny. And I'm really not used to this kind of weather. But we are with it.
Thank you, Wanjira. I think we're having problems with the sound because of the wind. So I think we just wanted to say hi to Veronica before we start, because we're going to show just a short video before that. So it's just to know that everybody's on board. Looking good in Kenya.
Okay,
so
thank
before
you. Veronica, take over the introduction.
Thank you, Anshira.
Okay, so before we come down to Veronica's farm, what we're going to do is look at a short video from another farm, also in Machakos, in the same area. And the reason we're doing this as a video clip is simply because of the internet connection, so that we can ensure stability. And what you're going to see on this farm is how the ongoing drought is affecting conditions. So over to the video clip.
My name's Zipporah Mwen Makusa. I come from Maloni Village, Machakos County. I initially do farming. It's a mixture with dairy. In our area, we have shortage of rain. Lastly, when we got the rain was in June. Then from there, the crops, this season, they never gave us the real yield as we were expecting. This one made me not to be happy because I did not achieve my goal, because I expected to harvest. But due to this shortage of rain, they did not give me the right yield. The production of milk has gone low, and also the cows have been getting thin. That made me now to start reducing the number of the cattle because of this lack of enough fodder. This one has affected my family because now some of the things like now some of the people, children, they don't get enough money to do what I wanted them to do, like in school. That is the school fees, their needs, let me say, and also the food. Because if it is like milk, when it has gone down, I can't sell enough, I can't get money enough. Now with this one, it has affected me. Let me say, the money, with the money, I've gone down. Let me say the weather has changed. And as it has changed, year after year, I've been looking for the crops that are doing or coping with the low rain, like planting crops that take short time to yield. That is beans. With 1 month, they can yield. With the maize, 3 months, they can yield. But with the other crops, like there's others which need 2 rainy seasons. Those ones I've done away with them. In our area, we have that water is a challenge because we have only one earth dam, and which is not seasonal. It is a drying. After the rain has gone, we normally get it, uses that in dam for 3 months, of which many of us in our area almost come to that area. With the bores, they are very far where we get water to help us. And when you go there, there is a limit. You can't get enough because we are almost all of us going there. And you waste a lot of time. If I can get any aid of getting water, because water is my challenge, and with the water, farming can continue, I would be happy, as I can say. Water that is not getting finished, that is flowing, or it is doing me my favorite according to what I'm doing in the farming and also in the dairy. With the money, I've gone down. Let me say
That
the
was
weather has changed.
a short clip from Kenya, from Machakos, where we met Sipora Mioni, who lives in the same area as Veronica that we're going to visit just now. But maybe first just a comment on what we're seeing. And I would start with Olarik. Olarik, you lived and worked in Malawi during also a severe drought and hunger. How comment to this film?
Yes, it's quite similar to some of the things that I experienced in Malawi some years ago. And of course, it hits the farmers. They get less incomes, but also, of course, the people there. There is lack of food, and that is, of course, very, very harmful, not at least for the children, I think. But I also learned that there are ways to deal with this, try to cope with it as good as possible. One is what we can see here today, and we will listen more to it, the farmers organizing themselves in cooperatives. That is making their business, I think, a bit more resilient. So they can cope with it together in a better way. They can create a better future for themselves. And we had several good examples in Malawi where one case was where rice growers organized themselves and they could deal with a much higher volume of rice, and therefore they could negotiate and get more money per kilo of wheat of rice. Instead of being on the lowest level when the vendors came to deal and to negotiate about prices with only one bag of rice, they had tons of rice. So they changed it, and they were in the power seat in the power situation instead. Another thing we did was to to introduce other crops that were more drought resistant. In Malawi, they grew mainly maize, and when there is a drought, it doesn't work. Sometimes there was no yield at all, actually. So we introduced sweet potatoes and also trained the farmers to grow this not well-known crop. And that was one very good thing to do, so they could grow more food.
Take that with you. We'll see what Veronica says about it. What do you think, Elizabeth? What's your comment to the video?
I think this shows the need of resilient and sustainable food systems, not only to increase the food production, but also how we take care of the food afterwards. And I think that you had some good examples that the need of knowledge and the need of cooperation.
Marie?
Ja, men det smärtar att se vilka brister som finns i vardagen. Men jag tror också att det är nödvändigt att vi ser de här behoven och tydliggör dem. Därför att man glömmer. Och det kanske är så att om vi går tillbaka 100 år i tiden så befann sig Sverige i samma situation. Och det var ju faktiskt därför som många av de kooperativa bolagen bildades. Vi hade hungersnöd, vi hade svält. Så jag gör den reflektionen att vi var där, men det var för väldigt länge sedan. Och att det fortfarande än idag är så här. Så att, det är med blandade känslor.
I think what Marie is saying that she's seeing this video also with very mixed feelings, in the sense of it's very painful to know that people are living under such dire conditions, but it's also very important for, in this case, the Swedish population to understand that. And Marie is also reflecting that there was hunger in Sweden over 100 years ago, and that was one of the reasons that the cooperative organizations and companies were once founded. It was for people to come together to combat poverty and hunger. So that's also a reflection that Marie made on this. With that, I think we'll take you straight to Veronica to continue the discussion. So back to Kenya and over to you, Veronica, together with Wanjira.
Thank you, Anne. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my farm. My name is Veronica Musau from Machakos County, Vota village in Kenya country. It may interest you to know that I'm a widow and I have a lot of interest in farming. Our area is very dry. What you are seeing is not what Kenya, and particularly this area is like. This green is out of a lot of effort that has been put in it. I'm a retired teacher. I started farming in 1999. When I retired, I started thinking about to mitigate the drought. But before then, my farming was to assist me get food and at the same time, be able to get extra money to educate my children. I did not have a home. I was living in a rented house and I needed to put a home for my children. I'll take you to those details slightly later. But where I'm standing now is my kitchen garden. I keep on doing and redoing it again. I have a water pan, I'll take you there. But right now, the water pan is dry and I need to have vegetables so that I can fresh food that is nutritious. Water is scarce and I buy water so that I can water my pigeon peas that will give me greens and they'll also give me the grains for protein. Up there is spinach, there are eggplants, and there is onion that ensures that I have food once they are grown. Together with that one, earlier on, I decided fruit farming. And here are my mango trees. This is one of them. They are now in the flowering season. But great and very interesting is that they normally mature when all the other mangoes are off the season. And when I take to the market, they give me some good returns. Together with the mangoes, I have pawpaws. But pawpaws are more seasonal. And you can see that the one I'm holding has nothing. The reason because of shortage of water. I'm not able to buy water to water the kitchen garden and also water every pawpaw. The few that are produced small pieces. Ideally, this would be about 3 times this size. But all in all, I have fruits, I have food. Sometimes these fruits are more than I can consume. I take to the market, I give friends, and I get some few coins and have enough food. Together with that one, through training that I went for a seminar that was organized by Lower Eastern Daily Cooperative Alliance, supported by We Effect, I learned about sustainable agricultural land management. And one thing about that is to do cover crops. Cover crops will protect the soil from runoff water, nutrient leaching, and moisture retention also. The cover crop also controls weeds. The cover crop that are put are sweet potatoes. The pines apparently assist me in my dairy farming because they help me feed the cows and increase the milk. The potatoes are food. They are very sweet for breakfast. When you come to Kenya, kindly you're welcome to my dining.
Veronica, I think
you can see.
I think we're looking forward to that breakfast. But let me ask you. I mean,
yes.
there is a drought. We see that you have little water in your water in the pond. The mangoes are doing well.
That.
The other things are maybe suffering a bit. But from what
they're suffering a bit, especially. Can you see this mango here? If you allow me to cut this one.
Yes.
You can see this one. The white cheese stuff is diseased because of drought.
Okay.
Normally mango trees are more resistant and they seem to be green when everything actually is dry. But when the drought is very severe, they will definitely get sick. Even the sweet potatoes are also drought resistant, but it gets to a point they're also dry. But at least I'm lucky I have a few.
How are you managing under this
yes?
situation, Veronica?
How am I?
How are you managing?
I'm managing the situation specifically for the kitchen garden by buying water. I happen to be lucky because there's another dam near my farm, but getting that water is very expensive because a barrel of 200 liters costs about 400 Kenya shillings. And I need to water twice a week. That's quite expensive. Yeah. I have no salary. I'm depending on these fruits. You can see they are so small, but I'm not giving up. I'll do what I can. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. You're in a situation now of drought, but we're also still in the middle of the pandemic. So maybe could you share a bit of how
that one affected me very badly. I'm a member of a cooperative, a dairy cooperative, which is actually an affiliate of Ledica. And when there was lockdown, I also went down with the disease. And unfortunately, I was unable to monitor my cows. I have a passion fruit farm. I was also unable to monitor it. In the process, I lost my best producing cow. And the passion fruits, I had to cut them because they were sick. And I get rid of the sick ones so that they can sprout again. What you are seeing now is what is now coming up back again. I told you I'm not giving up.
No, I think
I want to be a diehard.
I think we can see that you're tough, Veronica. A question
Together
here
with that
from,
one, to mitigate on the food crisis,
yeah,
I have put bananas. That will give me food security. Below the bananas, I am putting out avocado trees. That will not only provide food, basically they are for economic purpose. And my objective is to make sure that I export them.
Okay,
so I welcome you to my water pan.
We like the objective.
Show you my water pan.
But Veronica, a question. There's
Yes,
a question
please.
here from the travelers, and it is, there is a drought now in Kenya. Is drought common in Kenya?
Very common. Apparently, when I started farming, we would tell the seasons, and the rain seasons were more reliable. But now it's very hard to tell when the rain is coming, when it's going to be dry, because there's been a lot of climate change. And before we get to the water pan, opposite the orchard, the green orchard, where I'm facing now, you can see the drought. I planted grass there for my cows. You can see the sheep are even wondering why I put them in that hot sun, almost 30 degrees Celsius, but I have nothing else to do. It is normally very dry. If you see the trees around, these are acacia trees, and this one are a sign of serious drought because they are drought-resisting trees. Otherwise, in Kenya, especially lower eastern, it's a very, very bad situation. Back to my water pan.
So I
told you when I retired, I put all my retirement benefits to harvest water. And that is a skill that I also learned from Ledica, supported by We Effect, of water harvesting. This water pan is 21 meters radius and a depth of 3 meters. I've not calculated the volume, but it gives me quite a good amount of water. That's when it rains. Times we get flash floods, it fills, and it can last me for close to 3 months. That's why you can see my mangoes. They're doing well because of that water. And down here, these pipes are runoff. And that's why I planted the bananas, so that they can get the water, the runoff water. I'm trying to make use of every drop that comes here.
Thank you, Veronica.
And I would also encourage.
We have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Veronica. I'm impressed over the work you have done, and I really think
Thank
you're
you.
a role model for other
Yes.
women in the same situation. My question
Yes.
is, I know that you have been working and you have your membership in the dairy cooperation. Has it changed your way of
Yes.
working?
Sorry, has it?
Has it changed the way you're working? Have it helped you in your work?
It has helped me in a way. One, it has encouraged me because I have market for my milk. Sometimes I also take my fruits there during the meetings. Members buy, which is very encouraging. And at the same time, I'm also encouraging other people to have fruits. Being a member of that cooperative gave me an opportunity to attend workshops I did mention that I'm having seedlings of fodder crop, which will also assist in soil retention. That is, it has also helped me. And I expect to improve my dairy farming because of the feed that I'll be having. Generally, actually, animals around are dying because of drought.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're also very sorry that you lost
Yes.
your
Thank
other
you.
cow. Someone now is asking, how far do you have to the market, and how often do you go there?
I am about 15 kilometers from the open market. And when I have fruits, I have the wheelbarrow and I have the ox cart up to the tarmac. There are small vehicles called tuk-tuks. And I put my produce there, off to the open market. I sell and I come back. Sometimes when I don't finish selling, I give them for free because I will not incur expense bringing them back.
Okay. Thank you for that one. Here, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Thank you very much
So you
for
have seen
this.
my sheep.
Thank you very much, Veronica.
I have actually a vision of having more sheep because our Mdopa meat, that is a type of sheep, is very popular. And if the sheep are healthy, it's a very lucrative business. It can keep me afloat. Welcome now to my homestead.
Thank you, Veronica. A quick question here is,
yes, please.
Do you own this land yourself?
Oh, proudly so.
One of the few women who own land in Kenya.
One of the few women who own land in Kenya.
Yeah. Glad to hear
so
that.
Welcome to my
And
homestead.
We have a question here from Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Veronica.
Yes, welcome, Elizabeth.
Yes. What tools do you need to be more resilient for different crises in the future, like extreme weather and corona? For example, more education and knowledge, new technology, or maybe new ways to sell your products?
We need to be more innovative. And thanks again to We Effect, through Ledika, we have learned a lot about water harvesting, water retention in the farm. And once we embrace those practices, then we'll be assured we have domestic water. We can have kitchen gardens that are normally planted in gunny bags. And that will give us food because, like, when there is lockdown, people can't go to the market. And when they can't go to the market, they do not have food. But with harvested water, we can still continue watering. Even the kitchen water is very useful in watering the kitchen garden. You see, even inside my compound, I have the acacia trees that are actually, right now, they should be in blossom. But it's so dry, it's like they're drying off. These trees, I also prune them. You can see over there, I have the trimmings that I use for firewood. Later, I'll be taking you to my kitchen. Thanks to Ledika, I got an energy-saving deco, meaning that this firewood that would have taken me about 3 weeks, with that deco, it can get me 3 months. So thumbs up for Ledika and We Effect.
And I think to your hard effort.
Then I told you where I planted the grass. That used to be 6 acres of maize and beans. Ahead of me is my granary. I would harvest 60 bags of maize, 70 bags of beans, and I was a rich lady in town. But right now, because of drought, diseases have taken over. We have to spray the maize. Sometimes there's a total crop failure because of pests and diseases. The same thing with the maize. We are pest after harvesting, so storage becomes an issue. And therefore, you end up incurring a lot of losses. It's only that the cameras could not capture. Last week, I poured 100 kilos of beans, very painfully, because even if I wasn't going to use it, it would have helped somebody in the community. But right now, these stores now are now stores of hay. And I welcome you to have a look at it, because now that is the only way I can do it. I'm sure you can see the hay from inside. Then together with that, I try to be creative, because I would want my family to feed well. And I have few chicken that will give me eggs. They will give me meat, not only for myself, but even my neighbors. And I want to show you how I feed them. Inside the bunch of chicken, I have goose, actually geese, because there are two. The reason I have them is to provide security for the hens from predators. When I have the goose, predators don't come. You can see one hen has run out when I was giving them food. But they provide me food. And when you come to Kenya, I'll give you a roast chicken. I'll be very proud to do that.
Thank you, Veronica. I think we see that you have a very diverse farm with different crops and animals and so on. And can I ask, I understand that you and your family, you have enough to eat at this time.
True.
How is the community doing?
Desperate, quite desperate of a large percentage of the population. Not everybody is privileged like I am. But sometimes, just because people don't want to work. But we are trying to encourage them so that they can also put measures in place. Like occasionally we train them on how to do this vegetable farming on gunny bags, and that assists.
Then, let me ask you.
Because of the challenge of water, you can see here I have a water tank. I've done quite a bit of water harvesting, but this 10,000 liter water tank is actually empty because for several months there has been no rain. It has been quite hot. This is what I depend on, and my cows depend on. If the drought continues like this, buying water for the cows is also going to be a challenge. But I don't want to give up. I want to welcome you to my milking parlor and my dairy parlor.
As we're walking, Veronica, can I ask you, are the authorities doing anything? Is the government doing anything?
A little. Like the county government of Machakos has sunk a few boreholes in some very desperate areas, but that is not sufficient. For example, where I am, the public borehole is over 10 kilometers away. It can't help me. So I need to think out of the box. But they are trying. Remember, the COVID has affected basically everybody. The government, the private sector, the individuals. I want to imagine even the president is feeling it, because he's not happy when he's eating a square meal when his people are going hungry. So COVID has seriously affected us. But the point I'm driving home is that we need to encourage one another to think out of the box. I now welcome you to my place. Climate change, I said, has affected us very badly. And through the seminars that I attended, I learned quite a few ideas. That when it is very hot, milk production goes down. When it is very cold, milk production goes down. Therefore, I put up a structure that is both the resting place for the cow and also the storage for my hay. It's a main storage. Down here, you can see I have a wall. That wall provides warmth. It's actually around the whole structure. It provides warmth when it's very cold. It also helps the cows to be secure from wild animals, just in case. Because where I am, occasionally we have wild animals like hyenas. Like right now at night, they keep on coming around. Above the cows, that's where I put the hay store. It acts as a cover for the cattle against rain, so that my cattle are dry and warm. Okay? You can see a small structure ahead of me. This is where I normally cut the grass, because if I give the cows the grass in full, they're going to waste. And allow me to show you the process. I have a chaff cutter. I put it inside for security purposes. And I'm privileged to have electricity. So I normally cut the grass. The grass is turned into these small pieces that becomes very easy for the cows to eat. And with that, I would wish to welcome you to my milking place. I will still ask you whether you know how to milk, Anne, later, but allow me to milk.
Yeah, but while you're walking to the, I think some people on this trip have milked a cow before, maybe in different circumstances. But a question, there's a lot of work on your farm. Do you have anyone to help you with labor?
Occasionally, I have casual laborer who comes to assist me. I occasionally also have a farm help.
And are you?
So I cannot manage the work alone.
But what happened during COVID?
During COVID, we stay at work and keep our social distance. Actually, like when I was down with COVID, the workers are the ones that were managing the farm. And you know, they need a lot of management. They need a lot of supervision. And that's why I ended up having a loss. Okay, can we go to farm now, to milk?
Go for the milk.
Over to the milk now. My cow is called Maua.
Maua.
Translated in English, flower.
Flower, okay.
Come over, flower. Okay, go in. Go in. Hey, she's running away. She wants water. Because this is not the milking time. The men around will assist me.
It's okay. How much milk is she giving now, Veronica, given that it's so dry?
She's now giving me around 9 liters per day. But I've milked her for over a year, and she was giving me around 17. She's misbehaving because she looks very thirsty. He's causing drama.
But
go in.
Okay, we have a drama on the farm. But
You
I
have a
think,
bit of
Veronica, if you're not going to milk her, you don't have
she
to
has
do it
cooperated
for
now.
us.
Yes, I have to tie her so that she does not throw my milk out. And you know they are so conditioned. If you milk them during the wrong hour, they normally don't do very well, but I'll try to be quick. For her to cooperate in milking, she has to have something that she's biting when I am milking. Okay, I have my milking bucket. And before you milk, for hygiene of milk, you have to wipe the teeth with a wet cloth that has been dampened with warm water. Then I have my milking sap that I keep close. And here we go. And this is a work. I'm very proud to own a cow as a woman in Kenya, particularly in Machakos.
Tell me, why is that? Why is it different to own a cow as a woman? Why is that not? Why don't all women
Because
have
property
cows?
in my society is owned by men. Women are supposed just to be working and not owning any property. But we are encouraging women and trying to empower them to own property, to participate in economic production in their families. Because sometimes even the man, what he gets is not enough. And we're also trying to see if men can change their attitude and allow women to participate in economic gains of the family.
Is it working?
Yes. Sorry?
Is it working?
Slowly.
Yeah, gradually it's working.
Are the men listening?
Not all of them, but a few of them are.
Well, that's good to hear. We have a question here also for you, Veronica, and it's okay. We're still in the
Welcome.
pandemic, but are things
Yes.
Are things becoming easier now? Is it easing up, or are the effects still the same?
A little, because now we do not have lockdown. Movement is okay. And apparently the burden has been pushed to individuals. That each one of us has taken a responsibility to contain the pandemic. And like in Kenya, we are now seeing the curve coming down a little.
We're keeping our fingers crossed on that. And here they're also wondering, given what we can see from your farm, and even with enormously hard work, you're managing, and you've been able to manage. How do those who are not farming or who are not members of the cooperative, how do they justify that? Why don't they join? What do they say?
We are trying to encourage them. Because one, when joining the cooperative, there's a fee. And sometimes raising that fee is not easy.
Is it membership fee?
We are also trying to think outside the box to see how we can encourage them to come in. And that fee becomes like a loan so that they can pay slowly as they join. But because of the drought, again, it's not everybody who owns a cow. Feed is a challenge. One among the privileged women and people in Kenya, and particularly this area of our country, to have this large piece of land. Many families have as small as a quarter of an acre. That's where their homestead is. You expect them to grow crops there. It's not possible to have a cow. And they could be, those are the ones with large families. There could be about 10 members in the family. So there are quite a number of factors.
If we look at, we're going to go for a tea break just now, and
yes.
I know you've prepared some really nice tea, But
I have a lot of work and tea.
that's good. But I think of what you see from what We Affect does with the dairy and with our sister organization. Is there anything we
Yes.
should do different, or that we should do more or less? What do you think?
We still need to bring many poor people on board. And before we bring the poor people on board, the enlightened people need also to be challenged to go down. And sometimes our people are saying, a visitor, a more seasoned words than the local.
So basically, people need a bit of convincing, is what you're saying.
That is true.
Yeah.
And changing their mindset.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think also, before we go on the break, given that there's a drought, is there also relief aid from the government to the most affected areas? Is that affecting you at all or reaching you?
The relief the government is giving is in the poor settlement areas in the cities, especially where people do not have spaces to farm. As I say, the government is also feeling the effect of COVID. And there isn't much. But even the local leaders are trying to discourage that relief unless it is completely necessary. One, it makes people lazy. And it makes them just sit down and wait. They should be able to make use of the little that they have.
I think with that, thank you for that, Veronica. I think we're also going to give you a rest now from walking around on this field visit, or this virtual farm visit, and ask that we take a tea break. And I hope you get one your side as well.
Before we take a tea break,
yeah,
just before I forget, I learned that Denmark is very cold.
Very.
How do you take care of the cows so that their production is not affected?
Does anyone want to answer
sorry.
that? Maybe Elizabeth? It's very cold. So how do you keep the cows productive?
In Sweden.
In Sweden.
Oh, we have them inside in the winter.
You have them inside?
Yes.
And do you normally milk manually?
40 liters each day.
Not manually.
Everybody has a milking machine?
Oh, no, we have robots. A lot of farms have robots.
Okay. And do you have excess milk? What do you do with it?
What do you do with the excess milk? Överblivet?
We sell it. We sell it to factories where they make milk and ice cream and yogurt and cheese.
Oh, okay. But you do not have waste.
No. Do we have waste? Milk waste in Sweden?
No. Everything is used. So we sell it to the companies, the dairy companies, and they produce cheese or ice cream, yogurt.
They come and pick up the milk on the farms in milk trucks. So the milk is keeping cold.
I wish that technology can come to Kenya.
What do you do when you have surplus, Veronica? What do you do with the extra milk?
Unfortunately, we're poor. I told you when we were affected as a dairy, we were pouring as much as 300 liters per day. That was quite a waste.
That is quite a waste.
You cannot sell it locally to your neighbors as fresh milk?
You know, the people also don't have money to buy the milk. That's another challenge.
Yeah, so what we are doing about this through our partner, Eastern Dairy Cooperative Alliance, we are trying to have them back the milk That is an activity they have not been doing, so that gradually they move into processing and they can be able to absorb the excess milk. So we are hoping that in the very near future, since Machakos is dry, it's a milk deficit area, we shall not be able to have this deficit because the deficit normally comes during the rainy season. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wanjira. And I do know, Veronica, that you also make sour milk. I've heard the reputation.
Yes, I think I forgot to say that one today, because when my milk was capped from 30 liters per day to 8 liters, I needed to think of what to do. I started making sour milk. Actually, we are here today. You'll enjoy a mug.
Fantastic. Go have a mug of sour milk.
On your behalf.
And we'll have a short tea break. Thank you very, very much for this tour.
You.
And we'll see you in just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Och nu, kära vänner, hoppas ni har hängt med här. Nu tar vi en 10 minuter, nej det gör vi inte alls, vi tar 7 minuters paus och sen är vi tillbaka.
Wow.
Welcome back, everybody, and I hope Veronica and Wanjira that you also had a chance to get a cup of tea and maybe sit down for a minute. And for this section of the trip, we thought we would just go into questions from our travelers, and maybe also if Veronica, you have any questions for us. So I'll say, are you with us, Veronica and Wanjira? We are trying to Kenya contact. Okej, medan vi väntar på kontakt med Kenya. Är det någon som har några andra frågor så passa på medan vi ändå väntar på uppkoppling. Jag vet inte. Alarik, Marie, är det någonting ni funderar på?
Ja, men
när ni har kooperationen samlad här.
Ja, vi pratade lite om hennes familj, hur hon klarar av allt det här. Liksom, hela den här gården. Det är fantastiskt. Och vilken hjälp hon har. Hon har inte mycket hjälp. Hon gör mycket av det här själv.
Hon pular på och gör det här jobbet själv. Hon har då 3 barn, vuxna barn och barnbarn. Och är då änka som hon nämnde. Men hyr in liksom lantarbetare per timme när hon har råd. Och det är väl det som också har varit otroligt svårt nu under pandemin med de ekonomiska konsekvenserna. När folk helt enkelt inte har pengar och det finns helt enkelt ingen köpkraft och heller ingenting att anlita människor för. Jag vet inte, vad tänker du, Alrik?
Jo, men jag tänkte så här. Dels så har jag erfarenhet från Malawi som är då mindre utvecklat och mycket fattigare. Det är ett av världens fattigaste länder faktiskt. Där de är så där i botten 3 eller topp 3 över fattiga länder över tid. Och jämför man med det så är ju det här en väldigt välskött och välbeställd gård och kvinna. Ingen lantbrukare som jag träffade under den tiden jag jobbade i Malawi hade det så här bra. Det ska man också komma ihåg, alltså att man tycker kanske detta är liksom total misär, det kan inte bli sämre. Men det finns, skulle jag tro, flera 100 miljoner människor i Afrika söder om Sahara som har det sämre än det här. Va? Och det här är ju en väldigt skötsam och välorganiserad och strukturerad människa. Det får man ju liksom helt klart för, så då kan man ju lyckas. Va? Jag skulle tro bara att skulle vi göra liknande eller studiebesök hos grannarna så skulle det inte heller vara så bra som hon har det. Va? Så att man kanske förfasas över att hon har det väldigt svårt. Men jämfört med väldigt, väldigt många i framförallt Afrika så tror jag hon ändå har det ganska bra. Det ska man också komma ihåg. Och detta är ju delvis en effekt av det arbetet som WeEffect har gjort faktiskt. Va? Det är klart att jag skulle tro hennes personlighet har en stor betydelse. Hon verkar vara en väldigt bestämd och liksom målmedveten människa och kvinna. Men det i kombination med det här stödet ifrån kooperativet och WeEffects insatser och annat har ju gjort att hon har kommit ändå en bra bit på vägen. Och det är kul att höra det här. Så hon har liksom planer. Hon är inte uppgiven utan det är thinking out of the box. Det måste finnas en lösning och så vidare. Så att det är ju väldigt positivt att se den inställningen.
Ja, jag kan bara hålla med. Och också det här att inte vilja ha stöd. Ingenting gratis. Utan det handlar om att hjälpa oss få bättre förutsättningar för att kunna jobba.
I think they were with us now.
Are you back? Kenya, Veronica, Wanjira.
Yes, I'm waiting for you.
Well, great. Did you enjoy your tea?
Yes, it was very yummy.
That's fantastic. I think we have quite a number of questions now from our travelers, and so I thought we'd let them in to ask them, and also if you have any questions for us, of course, we'd be more than happy to respond to them. But maybe I'll start this side, and I'll start here in the studio, and I'll ask if Marie or Alarik, if you have a question.
Yes, Veronica, if there was one thing you could wish to continue to further develop your farming, what would that be?
There are 2 things, not even one.
You can say
one is knowledge. 2, facilitation, but not for free.
Facilitation, but
example,
for
if
not
I
free.
got
Is that what you said?
somewhere, I can get a loan that I can pay slowly after I've started my work, I'll be happy. And then more knowledge will assist me to move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a question in the chat, and it asks, are there any irrigation systems in Kenya? Artificial water irrigation
Yes, they are
systems?
there.
Yeah.
There are private boreholes and government boreholes. But the government boreholes are basically for domestic use. But when it becomes dry, some of the boreholes run dry and the crops also dry. It depends on the aquifer that the borehole went through.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe to add on that, yes, in Kenya, we have irrigation projects, and the major irrigation projects are government funded to support food production, and it depends on the area, right? We have the Mwea irrigation scheme to support the growing of rice. Rice mostly the government supports irrigation schemes. We are doing some government irrigation scheme in Tana River, Bura area, and that one it seems that producing a lot of maize to cover the government.
Okay.
Deficit.
Thank you, Wanjira. I'm going to stop you there because we hardly hear you. But what I hear you say is that yes, there are irrigation systems, but it's mainly for commercial, larger fruit production, rice,
Food.
and for large farmers that produce maize. Did I understand you correctly?
By the government,
Yeah, but government run. Okay. Thank you.
yes, government run. Most of them are government run.
Olarik.
Yes, thank you very much. It was very impressive to see your farm. Thank you so much for that. I had
Thank you.
one question. You touched upon it, but about firewood and how to get enough either charcoal or firewood. Is that a big problem? In Malawi, where I worked, it was a big problem to find enough firewood for the domestic use. They had to walk for
Yes.
hours to find enough to collect wood. How does it work for you and for the community?
The locality I am in, that's not a big problem because this is a settlement area. There are also restrictions by the local community that we do not go felling trees and burning charcoal. But some other areas, a distance from here, firewood is a challenge.
Okay.
Could I ask one more question? About, you
Yes,
said
please.
something was very good. You said you need to think outside the box. And I was thinking, I mean, this may continue in the future with lack of water. The aquifer or the water table will go down and you will have a long time deficit of water. How can you cope with that? You have any ideas about new crops you can grow that are more drought resistant?
Yes. If we planted sorghum, that is drought resistant. We also run research stations where we can get maize seed that matures within a very short time. And even if the production is not very high, it assists the community.
Thank you.
What are you doing? Are you milling something there, Veronica?
I'm waiting for me to welcome you to my kitchen.
We're going to do the cook along. Okay, in just a second.
Yes.
Let me ask you. Just you were talking earlier about the fact that you were able to buy this land. You're also a female farmer.
Yes.
And that it's difficult to be a female farmer for many reasons. But why? Why is it difficult? Why does society look different at female farmers than male farmers?
Well, this is changing slowly, but ideally, the society looked at the women as people should be seen and not heard. They're supposed just to work. And even right now, those that work and they have husbands, and they start selling, they can do the work, but the money belongs to the man because the land is the man's property.
So even if the woman works, the man takes the money.
Yeah, the man takes the money, but we are trying to assist by educating the man that the woman is an equal partner and has a right to the money. And the man should also come in and support the woman with the hard work. And especially if the man does not have a formal employment. And even those who have formal employment, times when they are off duty, they should also assist the women in the farm in whatever small scale they have. And also give women space to have economic activities without necessarily the woman feeling like they are working for the man.
Thank you. I'm wondering, Veronica, do you have any questions for us?
I just a few questions. Maybe I could ask after the end of the cooking.
Okay, fantastic.
We
I
could
can
be
hear
feeling
that you want to
hungry.
go to the kitchen, so take us.
Want to go to the kitchen?
I'm going to do some cooking here as well.
Oh, you're going to do some cooking there as well? Do you have dry maize? In my container here, I have dry maize.
Yeah.
And in my community, we prepare mudokoi by having the peso, the mortar, and the peso. Then you put the dry maize in the mortar, and you put a little water. The little water assists in removing the skin. The peso, the pressure between the peso and the mortar kind of removes the skin of the maize, but it takes a bit of time. So when the process is over, this is what I have. You can see I'm having very clean maize.
Let's see.
And this is what I'm going to use to make my mobokoi.
Okay. We're doing it here as well, you know.
Depending on the taste, you mix the maize, there's the mobokoi maize and the peas. There are some people who don't like a lot of peas in the maize. There are others that like a balance. So it depends with the taste. And therefore, I'll mix my maize and my peas, which I've already removed the dirt, wash it, and I put it in the pot. May I welcome you to my kitchen?
Thank you. And when you're walking, Veronica.
Yes?
A question. Somebody's wondering, how many hours a day do you work?
Yeah, we don't talk. In the home, we don't talk of hours. I start the day at 6, and I may sit down at 8 in the evening.
Okay.
Maybe having a lunch break of about 30 minutes. Okay. That's our lifestyle. Okay. And we enjoy it.
6 in the morning to 8 in the evening. Okay.
Yes.
And if you look
at others?
If you look at, we were talking about developing your farm and your wish list. Would you say that you see larger opportunities with the animals or with the crops?
Both.
Both.
And I have to do both, just in case one is struck, like I lost my cow.
Yeah.
If it was the only one, and I did not have another source of income, it would have been very devastating. But you see, if one is struck, I can lean on the other.
So it's
and
diversity.
Yeah, diversity. And I'm now trying to buy a second cow from the proceeds that I get from the fruit. So one supports the other. And again, nutrient-wise, when I'm having both, I'm confident my family and myself are feeding well. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
And the crops feed from the cow's manure.
The crops, again, there's actually a symbiosis living, because the crops feed from cow manure, the cows feed from the stalks of the crops. It's actually a circle. So you're welcome to my kitchen. Here I have an energy saving jiko. This one here.
This is your stove,
I
right?
meant courtesy of Ledika, being supported by We Effect. This is more energy saving. As you can see, I lit the fire in the morning with only 3 sticks, and there's enough fire to boil my water. I have my pot here, which has water. There's water here. I'll wash my maize and beans. You have to wash it thoroughly so that the starch can get out. And when it is cooked, the maize does not stick. Or rather, the whole meal does not stick. Once it is clean, I put in the water that is in the pot. Then I cover. This pot covers very tightly, and it also helps in energy saving. And I'll put it on my fire, the fire that is going to cook. This is better compared to my 3-stone fireplace that I was using before. Because with this one, I put the 3 sticks. Once the fire is on,
I think we lost the sound. Can you hear us, Veronica? If you can, could you just raise your hand, because we can't hear you? Okay, so you can hear us. We're seeing your stove. It's looking good. We're just going to try to get the sound back. I think one of the questions here in the chat is when you expect the rains to come, and maybe we could comment that. We'll let you answer when the sound is back, but also that the rains are overdue, and it's nobody knows. It's incredibly uncertain, and currently there's been a crisis warning that 2.1 million people are at the risk of starvation in Kenya due to this specific drought. And also that these droughts are becoming, even if they've always been there, they are more frequent and they are more severe following the climate crisis. Let's see. Veronica, are we back?
yes,
Now we hear
Can
you.
me?
Fantastic.
You can see now I'm trying to have the firelight. So I was telling you, the jiko that I constructed through Ledika is more energy saving, and it is work effective. Because once I put 3 sticks and the fire is on, I can go to the farm or attend to other domestic issues. And for an hour, I'll come and find my food ready. While the 3-stone jiko, sorry, there's a bit of smoke now. the 3-stone jiko, I have to keep on coming back to check the fire and hunt for the firewood.
It's more efficient. We're very happy to
It's
see
more
that.
it's more efficient in cooking. It is also more efficient in firewood use. As for the point continues cooking, outside here I have my onion. That I'm going to use to spice my motokoi. But in some community where some issues of financial a problem, people just boil food salt and but to make it more tasty, I need to fry with onion. I have tomato. And to make it colorful and have nutrients, I've had carrot and fry with my fat. Yeah. Then to make it more tastier, this is from my farm. It has been hit a bit by the sun. It's coriander. It's a very nice seasoning. It makes it nice. So at the end of the day, when I'm done, I have my motokoi. You see how it looks like? Are you able to see it?
Let's see, we can see it. If the camera could come just a little bit closer.
The camera. Let the camera come closer so that you can see it.
We want to see
When
this
cooked
fabulous
and
cooking.
it does not have a lot of soup. Normally very tasty.
Or maybe you could bring the pot to the camera.
I bring the pot to the camera. Oh, I can get closer to the camera.
But we see the motokoi cooking well in the kitchen. And the stove is working.
Now we see it.
Now we see it. Fantastic. It looks good. We're going to do a bit of cooking this side as well. But I think yours is looking smarter than ours, actually. Let okay, we've lost the sound again. För er som tittar, då har ni säkert tänkt att ja, men vänta, det var ju det här som skulle börja nu. Ja, men det blev lite så i programmet. Och ni som vill hänga kvar för lite cookalong så gör vi det alldeles strax. Ni som kommer att checka ut nu halv, så bara säga varmt och stort tack för att ni har varit med på den här resan. Och vi kommer naturligtvis att tacka Veronica och allas vägnar. Men kan ni så häng kvar en liten stund till. Man vet ju inte hur det här slutar, eller hur? Så, tack. Veronica, can you hear us? It's looking good. Can you hear us okay? Okay, I think we've lost the. We've lost the sound. We don't know if Veronica can. Now you're back.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. It's looking good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. When cooking is over, because it's going to be over, I'll come back.
Okay, it's difficult to hear you.
You're difficult hearing me?
Now we can hear you.
Yes. So I'll teach you when you come over or when I come over to your place.
I think we're very, very much looking forward to that. But
thank you.
Thank you very much. But also before we thank you, I'd like to ask, Veronica, do you have any questions for us?
I wanted to ask, what is a local dish in your place?
The local dish. Okay, you've
Yes,
shown
what is
us
a
now
local
the local dish among your people, the Kamba people. What would you say is the local dish in our place? Olarik.
What is the local dish? Yes.
I tell you what I like to eat. My local dish. Irish potatoes is a favorite for me. But also, potatoes, Irish potatoes, I think.
Yes, I know them.
Yeah.
How
And
do you
some
cook
meat,
them?
beef or pork.
Uh-huh.
And I also love to drink milk.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. I'll have
I also
a glass of milk when I visit you.
Yes, and I will also give you the sour milk.
I love sour milk too, so that's excellent.
Wow,
Yes.
that's good.
I had it for breakfast this morning.
Yes, that was good. You keep local chicken.
We also something very popular here is also meatballs. You take beef and make mince, and you make little balls out of them. That's very popular.
Oh, that's good. I would wish to taste them.
Yeah, we're going to let you taste them. I promise you that.
Thank you.
But I think, are there any other questions or comments?
I'm requesting, I do not have a question for now, but I'm requesting Wanjira to introduce the other members of my dairy cooperative that have come to be with me today.
Thank you, our visitors. As you know that we are promoting equality in our partner organizations. Veronica today as
We lost the sound, Wanjira. We can't hear you. Och till er som har ställt frågor i chatten och inte fått svar, vi ser ju självklart till att ni får svar på dem sen. Så att vi skriver till er med svar på dem.
So I hope you can hear me. Are we okay with the sound? Our studio.
We can't hear you, Wanjira or Veronica. I think we're having technical problems here.
Yeah, we are trying to resolve it through our technical team. Hi.
Okay, I think whilst we're waiting to att vi får tillbaka Veronica och Wanjira så att vi kan tacka riktigt ordentligt, så ska vi nu passa på att tacka Postkodlotteriet som har gjort den här resan möjlig, och inte minst den här fantastiska studion som vi står i här på WeEffects kontor. Eller vad säger ni?
Ja, verkligen.
Va? Det känns det på riktigt?
Ja, det gör det. Och man är lite tagen, tänker jag. Men också, alltså hon är ju otroligt, vilken personlighet och vilken kraft. Liksom, man funderar ju på hur kan man få det där ut mer av det då. Och där är ju WeEffect väldigt duktiga.
Tack för den. Vad tänker du?
Jo, men jag
Alex?
tänker samma. Hon var ju fantastisk här, jätteduktig och vet vad hon vill i allra högsta grad och har en plan för allting. Det verkar inte som att det är slumpen som styr varje morgon hon går upp. Va? Och jag tänker att när vi jobbar i Malawi så hade ju vi så kallade lead farmers, alltså som inspirerade grannarna och så, och som visade hur hon hade gjort. Hon om hon inte redan är det så borde hon bli en sådan i något We-effekt-program tycker jag. För hon skulle kunna inspirera hela bygden ju, med sitt engagemang och sin kunskap och sådär. Va?
Verkligen, det ska vi framföra och då tänker jag så här, är inte det här en så här perfekt läge att bara säga det där ni vet som vi brukar säga, nämligen att vi är starkare tillsammans.
Yep.
Nu är Veronica och Wanjira tillbaka, så nu kommer vi helt enkelt att runda av och tacka henne så mycket för det här besöket. Så vill du hänga med på det, så gör det. Annars, stort tack för ditt deltagande och så ses vi en annan gång. Back to you guys. Can you hear us? Wanjira and Veronica. No, we can't hear you. I'm sorry. No, there's no sound.
Hello, Hannah.
Now we can hear you.
Oh, let me use my phone. Thank you. Sorry for that. I was just saying we are promoting equality within the dairy, the participation of women within the dairy enterprise. And Veronica today decided to bring around some of the women they work together with. So we shall have just a very, very short time to have the women just say hi to you, team, and maybe what they do as the women of Kimotu. Thank you.
That's fun. Yes, we want to say hi to the other women as well, of course.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine. My name is Margaret Maveka. I am a member of Kimutua Dairy Cooperative. We work with Veronica, and I have benefited from the trainings from Ledica. Veronica trained first, and she trained us. So we have benefited a lot. We know how to, apart from keeping cows, how to keep up our farms like hers. And we have learned also that instead of having our husbands benefit, we are also share members because they are share members also. So as we are being paid for milk, we get a part and they get also a part because most of the times we are the ones who are in the farm, and at the end of the day, they are the ones who earn. But nowadays, that is changing slowly, and we are getting some things more. So we want to thank you for the trainings. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you very much for your hard work and for your efforts. I think that's what's bearing fruit. Congratulations.
My name is Jenny Wambua. I am a farmer and a member.
We're failing to hear you, Jane.
My name is Jenny Wambua. I am a farmer. I'm a member of Kimutwa Dale. I do farming and
Okay.
hi.
Nice to meet you, Jane. Thank you.
I'm Regina Kimeu. I'm also a farmer. I'm a member of Kimutwa Dairy, and I love dairy keeping. I've learned a lot from my friend and neighbor, Veronica, and would like to join and work hard behind her so that I may also gain what she has gained. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you, Veronica, for introducing us to your fellow members in the cooperative. And I think maybe it's time for us to hit the road. What do you say? So that you get some rest after this very extensive walk on your farm. Can you hear me, Veronica? Wanjira, can you hear me? We can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Anna, can you hear us now?
We can hear you now, yes.
Better use the phone. Hello.
We can hear you.
Hello, Anne.
Hi, Veronica.
Yes, before you hit the road, you've been in an African homestead. And normally in an African homestead, and specifically my community, you don't go home empty-handed. I'm asking my lady friends to come and hand you over some of my farm produce. You can see this potato, so sweet. When you put it on the table, your family will be nourished. We also have purpose. Friends, can you hand over to Anne and the team in Stockholm? And you can see we have more here. You would have taken a lot. Thank you, Anne. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Veronica, for letting us into your home and for sharing with us. Thank you for this beautiful produce. And thank you for the inspiration and encouragement that you and your fellow cooperative members give. Please stay safe, take care of each other, and thank you very, very much for this visit. Thank you so much. And bye from all of us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Och då, kära vänner, så tänker vi så här, att eftersom det blev lite tokigt med alltihopa, så ni som har förberett och lagat mat, gör det. Men jag tror att vi kopplar ner här från studion och så utmanar ni er. Den som har den snyggaste muttakojen, skicka en bild så utlyser vi här med en liten muttakoj-tävling. Den ordnar vi. Det är bara och för vi har fuskat, vill ni se? Kolla. Så här. Så, titta. Så, slut. Det är ganska snyggt. Syns det, eller? Jajamensan. Nu är det en kamera som är på väg att zooma in här. Det luktar till och med. Är ni lite hungriga här, eller?
Ja då.
Ja, kolla. Så, här blir grejen. Då säger jag bara så här, den som kan slå den, det är välkomna att göra det. Stort varmt tack. Det här är också starten på årets insamlingskampanj Hela Sverige mot hungerpandemin. Tack för att ni kan göra det här tillsammans. Jag tror att utan att dra till med en massa floskler, för det behöver vi inte. Vi vet att vi är starkare tillsammans. Så tack för att ni är med oss på den här resan. Varmt tack och rädd om er.